What's up, everybody? My name is Clem, in time to talk to you about the Scav case and Escape from Tarkov. Let's get into it. Every single time I've seen somebody ask a big content creator what they should open in a Scav case, I've always seen 85k for money, Moonshine for Kappa, and Intel for keys. I had to test this for myself. If you're new to Tarkov and are not sure what the Scav case is, it's essentially a loot crate. You send Scavs out to fetch items for you, they take them from Nikita's asshole, then they ship them right back to you and you can open it up, and depending on what you pay, you'll get different quality of items. All items from the Scav case are found in raid, and depending on the price of items in the flea market, your profit margin will vary a little bit. During 12.10, and likely in the future, prices and metas are going to and already have switched up a decent bit. So, to make stuff recent, I'm here to revisit the community's theory on the Scav case and see what exactly is worth running within it. For the test, I opened 10 of each Scav case, and yes, even the 1k Scav case, added up their rough worth based on the highest price to sell, and gave an average profit margin after. The order will be in price to run, so 1k, 7k, 85k, Moonshine, and Intel, as I normally saw Intel prices roughly 5k over Moonshine. So let's see how these 5 options stack up against my fat Bitcoin stash.
Yes.
Who's on your game? Who's the...
For the seemingly worst Scav case, we had some surprising results. In my last opening, on number 10, we got the, let me pronounce this right here, 34mm one-piece mag mount made by IEA Mill Optics, which is worth a whopping 200 grand on the flea market. Even as I'm recording this, I checked the prices and it was still there, so don't ask me why. I don't understand this Giga Chad nature shit either. But including that weird ass profit on the last one, we got an average of roughly 40,000 rubles, with the exact number being 40,303. But without it, we got 22,662. The second number seems more on par with what we should see from these 1k cases, but I would still put it a little bit lower if you wanted to consider flea market costs in this. For me, I would place it around 18 to 19k per run on average. You still shouldn't run this case, but on the plus side, you'll almost never lose any money from it. So for some reason, if you want to spend 2 million rubles just to make 20 grand a run and never get your money back, then this is your run. I don't understand why you do that though. As far as time, it is the shortest, but it still doesn't give you as much of a chance at getting very high tier items such as graphics cards or really good keys or other important items, but we'll get to that at a later time. Our 7k outlier was equally as interesting because another outlier decided to fuck over my map. You can see our 8th run of the case dropped a GPU, which is a very expensive item. Due to this, our average with this is, well, it's not even worth going over. So without that run, our average profit in the other 9 was 34,484 rubles. This is, though a bigger number, simply not worth running over a 1k run. As you've likely seen videos from other creators, even 85k runs have a higher chance of giving you better tier items, and the difference between them is minimal. Out of all the cases, this is probably the worst one to run out of all 5, and not 1k. 85k is coming up next.
Sheesh.
With the 85k runs, there was no outliers messing up our average numbers, giving us, surprisingly, a negative profit margin. Out of the 10 runs the 85k case, our average profit was negative 28,663 rubles. Even though this seems bad on the surface, Other instances of running the 85k off stream did give me several big ticket items, such as GPUs, expensive scopes such as the Voodoo, and expensive 60 round M4 mags. 85k runs, and as you'll see later, Moonshine and Intel, are based around luck of the draw more than consistent positive profit margins, so though you may run out of luck on some runs, other runs can provide you these really big ticket items that pay for several runs at once. Overall, I would suggest to run this over the 7k and 1k, obviously because of the chance to get big ticket items more effectively, and even though I didn't get many with these 10 runs, other proof from other streamers, even from myself from personal experience, prove that this is worth running if you want to make money in the long run. It simply won't give you consistent positive profit margins that you would get with, say, a 1k run. However, you have a chance to get a lot more money, which is the reason why this is above the other two. By making scavs drunk off their ass, we do get to see some positive runs here. Runs like number 1 and 8 squeezed out pretty big profit margins, with one making us profit of almost 600k. Really negative runs such as number 3 sunk our average with their almost 300k loss. By the end of it, we had an average profit of 22,753 rubles. Though this may also seem bad, it makes up for it with the quality of the items that they give you. On occasion, I've gotten rare items such as teapots, vases, lions, and as you saw yourself, a roller, along with several other items like fuel conditioner, all for quests. To me, I would personally run Moonshine only if you have quests that still need to be completed that require those items. Otherwise, stick to that 85k or grind to try your luck for keys and intel. Speaking of intel, I don't know how to break it to you. This is going to be really hard for me to say, but the average profit for these runs was a negative 198,874 rubles. I'll give you guys a minute to mourn your loss. Though I got absolutely destroyed when it came to profit here, I only had one run which came out positively, I still think Intel will have its use. Obviously there are clips of people getting green key cards or blue key cards or GPUs, but in terms of profit, this is the worst. This will devastate you entirely. If you're playing the cards for expensive keys, I would recommend buying the supplies to craft this in your Intel Center. Doing so will shave roughly 80 to 90k off of your cost and ensure that you squeeze out at least a little extra profit from your runs. This case out of all is the most risky, so I would only recommend running this case when you have extra money to spare. If not, I would go for 85k or Moonshine almost 100% of the time. So, which runs out of all of them should you run most often? Here's what I would do. I would run 85k during the day and between raids as you're playing the game. Run your Moonshine overnight as it's one of the longer runs that you can do, and then, if you can, sprinkle in Intel in place of the Moonshine and try your luck for keys. As for 1k and 7k, they're not really viable, but if you're somehow really low on cash, running 1ks every 40 minutes will almost certainly help you and give you a little bit of extra breathing room if you're struggling that bad. I would never suggest running 7k, however, as it simply is not worth your time. If this video cleared up some things about the Scav case or simply was enjoyable, hit the like and sub. This is my first take at content like this, so excuse the awkwardness. I'll become more natural with this as time goes on. Let me know what I should research next about Tarkov in the comments. This is Clem, clocking out for now. Later.